So today let's learn and contemplate Shloka 2.40. Neha bhikramanashosti. Over to you, Anita Aditi.
Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat.
In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear.
You let me know when you want me to move forward.
Yes, uncle, you can. Na means not, eha in this, abhikram efforts, nasha loss, asti there is, pratyavaya adverse result, na not, vidyate is,
Vidyate.
svalpam
Vidyate.
vidyate is, svalpama a little, api even, asya of this, dharmasya occupation, trayate saves, mahata from great, bhayat danger. In the journey of our lives, there is no bad result. Improving ourselves with even a little effort can save us from great upcoming dangers. Uncle, you can go to the next one.
So the example I would like to give is of birds building their nest. So when a bird builds its nest, there is a lot of risk. For example, the wind blowing it away, or another bird coming and using that nest. But at that moment, it works hard, despite knowing that it may not always have good results. So they do know that when their babies grow up, the nest won't be used anymore. But they still put all their effort into that nest so that right now it can save the chicks from great dangers like other predators. So putting
Yeah, yeah.
effort, so putting
Complete,
effort
complete.
something can really help you a lot, despite the results being uncertain.
So now is Shri Krishna pointing at uncertain results in this shloka?
I don't think it's necessarily uncertain results, but I'm just using it to emphasize more on the point that we should learn more from the process than caring about the results. It's about the process that teaches us a lot of things and the experience that helps us grow more.
Excellent. Very nice. Very nice example.
Uncle, you can go to the next one. I'm first going to read what I've written. Imagine a boy recently got eaten by a shark because he didn't know how to swim. So, thinking of that incident, we should put a little more effort and practice to swim more so you can avoid such a thing happening to you. There is no loss in life, every incident teaches us a lesson. So, from this, we can understand that there's this boy, and we got to learn from that boy because something happened to him, and we do not want the same thing to happen to us. So we don't have to think of the situation as I'm never going to a beach and getting bitten by the shark, or something like I will avoid the beach for my life, for the rest of my life. But instead, if we learn how we can avoid it, and um like in this case it's to swim, then we won't be in those kind of dangers. So instead of thinking of that I will never come across the situation, learning and being prepared beforehand is better than getting a loss at that moment.
Excellent. Very nice. Very nice example. So what is the kind of the knowledge that can help us in any situation is whatever the situation we are in, clarity about that, isn't it? So when we learn, then our fear of that unknown goes away. Even a little effort. I am very afraid of math, very afraid of math. But rather, how can I learn? Then that helps you to slowly but surely come out of the fear. isn't it? So like that, it applies to any situation. But what is the particular topic or particular jnana or particular knowledge that Sri Krishna is referring to in this shloka, in this endeavor? When he says in this endeavor, what endeavor is Sri Krishna referring to? Life. Okay. What about Anita and Aditi? What do you think?
Uncle, even I thought it was the journey of life.
Journey of life. In the journey of life, there is no loss or diminution, is how you are thinking. Then what does he mean by and a little advancement on this path? What do you think he is referring to?
I think it means putting effort so that you can get better at something that you don't know or you're unsure of. So that when you learn that particular thing, it can help you when you go further in life. And yeah.
Okay. Most dangerous type of fear. What do you think is referring to?
Uncle, I think it's failure.
Sorry?
Uncle, I think it's failure.
It's failure. So is he talking about any particular kind of fear here?
I don't think so.
So he is helping us to go into the root of all the fears. What is the root of all the fear?
Uncle, I think it's to understand the issue behind it so then we can solve it.
Okay. So Aditya also said fear of death. Is a fundamental fear in us the fear of death? Yes, Manya.
Is the root cause of fear ignorance of lack of true knowledge?
So the source of the fear is ignorance, lack of clarity.
Yeah, because any kind of fear, for example, fear of death, even that the source of this fear is lack of true knowledge. Because if somebody knew that they're never actually going to be destroyed, it's only the body, and then they could get a new body, and if they knew this entire truth, then they'll never be they'll never have this fear of death. So I think the source is lack of true knowledge. And what I think of endeavor here is probably that journey, or the path or the journey to get the true knowledge, to attain the true knowledge. So in this path there's actually no loss or diminution, but little advancement on this path. Like when we advance in this path to attain the peace or the true knowledge, then it's going to protect us from this most dangerous type of fear. Because they haven't mentioned any particular fear, because the most dangerous type of fear, it's actually a variable from person to person. But of course the one which like majority of people have is the fear of death. But then mostly it differs from people.
Very nice. Excellent. Yeah, let's continue. But I want to hear what presentation Manya and Aditya have to do. Have you prepared? Okay. Is there anything more that Anita and Aditi would like to say at this point of time?
No.
Okay. So do you want to present? Who wants to present next? Manya or Aditya? Who wants to present? Not pointing at somebody else. Okay.
But there isn't really anything that.
Yeah. So how would you like to present?
Yeah. So I just go to last slide because they were done. Yeah. So just like what they said, like there is no struggle in life when we put in a little effort, and in this life, in this journey of life, there is not really any loss because we're always learning something. And even when like on a basic level, when we think it's a loss, we're actually learning something from it. So a little effort can always we're always going forward, basically. That's what I understand.
Okay. Are there any examples that, like how Anita and Aditi gave, are there any examples?
No, I couldn't think of anything.
Okay, all right. So, I think Manya dropped for some reason, maybe because of the internet issue. We'll wait for her to come back. The one is when you read something or when you study something, the words are already there. If you verbatim rephrase it, that doesn't become your own clarity. You have to think of an example. How do I connect this to my life? So generalizing and say that in life there is no loss. I can ask a question. So there is always a loss. You're losing time, you're losing age, you're losing things, you're losing people. How can then Krishna say there is no loss? From what standpoint can Krishna say that there is no loss or diminution? There's always something removed from your life. The last moment is no more there.
But we're always learning something from it.
So then, from what standpoint Krishna is saying there is no loss? When can you also say that there is no loss?
When we always learn something from even what we lose.
Even from what we lose. What do you think, Anita, Aditi?
Uncle, because it's not permanent, everything is bound to go, so it's not exactly a loss.
Uncle, I think it's one about accepting and then shifting to the place without it.
Excellent. So now, for example, let's say I am afraid of cooking.
Sir,
Yes, Namit.
sir, I can't hear you.
Am I audible, Anita, Aditi? Okay. Namit, it may be on your side.
Yes, sir, now I'm able to hear.
Okay, all right.
Sir, what were you talking about?
Okay, so now Krishna is saying there is no loss or diminution. In this endeavor, there is no loss. So I gave examples. Time is constantly losing. Age is constantly losing. You're constantly losing your age. You're no more any younger than how you were a year before. The time is lost. The things in your life are also going away. So there's a loss. But Krishna is saying in this endeavor, there is no loss. So then he must be referring to some kind of endeavor, no?
Yeah.
Any other activity of life, if you really think about it, so you may say, okay, so for example, knowledge. I am always gathering knowledge. There is no loss of knowledge. But you can see people forget things. Many people, as the age advances, they get into Alzheimer's.
Yeah. So this endeavor means that the path of self-knowledge. That's what Krishna is referring to. When you realize your true self, nothing. You feel that that's not. You feel that it appears and disappears. That's all. It's not like a loss. Now the sun appears in the morning and disappears in the evening. So it's not like a loss. The endeavor that Sri Krishna is talking about is the path of self knowledge. So in that there is no loss. If you have the proper knowledge, there is no loss. It's just appearance and disappearance.
Okay, let's deepen that a little further. But first of all, before we go, does Anita, Aditi, and Aditya agree to what Namit is saying? That the endeavor here, Sri Krishna is referring to, is the endeavor of self-knowledge.
Uncle, I disagree with one thing.
Yeah.
He said there's no loss, it's just appearance and disappearance. But most of the times, the way our lives work, we are attached to one form and not that thing itself. So when something is in one form and it goes away, we're attached to that form. But most of us don't think of the different forms that can be attached to us later in life. So we cannot think of it as appearance and disappearance, but rather like accepting that it is a loss and moving on, thinking of something else that can give you the same attachment.
Okay. How would you answer that, Namit?
So automatically when you go on the self knowledge path, it may like if you're still it happens like for many people I have seen in them crying, even I have seen, but it also matters on how much you have realized. If you have completely realized and you have no attachments, but it's just like that. You're like Anita told, you're a bit sad and yeah, that happens. That's human tendency. It happens and it goes away. But what I'm telling is, if you have no attachment, then it will seem, and you may think uh, it's just how this human mankind works.
Okay. So Namit said the endeavor is self-knowledge. Endeavor is nothing but the endeavor or the striving to realize the self. That is the endeavor that Sri Krishna is referring. From that standpoint, there is no loss or diminution. When you are striving to realize the self, there is no loss or diminution, because when you truly realize, everything in life appears and disappears. So when you understand that, therefore there is no loss. So therefore, then Aditi said, no, it is not like that. There is one disagreement I have, and that is, there is always some form that appears and you get attached to that, and that form disappears. Then you have to learn to accept that the form disappears and realize that some other form may come. That's the viewpoint that Aditi brought. So I asked, then is there a difference of opinion here? Or are they same and stating it slightly differently? So what is your understanding now based on whatever I just narrated?
I think I agree with Namit that the endeavor is the endeavor of self-knowledge, and in this there is no loss or gain. I mean, there is gain, but there is no loss.
How do you say there is no loss and there is gain? Who's gaining and who's losing?
We are always gaining. And
who's that we who are gaining? Who? What are you gaining?
Knowledge towards who I truly am.
Okay. So, but we just now also discussed that any knowledge that can be gained can also be lost. But you may learn 100 ways of doing various wonderful dishes, but you may forget also because of Alzheimer's. Yes, Aditi.
Uncle, it's a now that the example that you gave, you have not a lot of knowledge, but as you grow older, you might forget all that. So that is technically a loss. But instead of thinking it as a loss, you can think of why it is happening. You can, so in this case, you can go through whatever you studied earlier. You can try and get all that knowledge back, and then do it often, so then you won't lose the knowledge. So instead of thinking it as a loss, we can think of it like something that can be brought back again, accepting that, and then working towards getting it back.
Good. That is one way of looking at it. But even in that, there is still an effort involved. And where there's an effort involved, there may be lack of effort or maybe wrong kind of an effort. So you may still lose it. But here Krishna is very clearly saying there is no loss. That seems like like a very clear statement. How do you reconcile to that? Anita, how do you reconcile to that?
Okay, I'm really not sure.
Is the question clear? Okay, good.
Sir, I still have some confusion in the question.
Okay, all right. So ask the what is that you are not clear about?
Sir, the question.
Okay, all right. Let me repeat the question in a slightly different way. So Krishna is making a statement. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. And I asked all of you, what is the endeavor Krishna is talking about? And some of the examples came about bird building a nest. Some examples, somebody learning swimming. Good, all are endeavors. Learning to swim removes the fear of I drowning. Very good. Building the nest removes the fear of animals attacking. Very good. But then I put the question, but any such knowledge is something that I can also forget. Because, it's something that I have learned. And you've seen people who get into Alzheimer's and forgetting things. So therefore, any knowledge that you can gain can also be lost. But here, Krishna talking about something where there is no loss. How is that even possible? And you said it is self-knowledge. So how can it be that it can be no loss?
Sir, self-knowledge is inherent. So it is eternal. So it can be never lost.
Very good. But then Aditi seems to be saying, no. I have to learn, and I have to, when I realize that something comes and goes, I may be attached now, but later I may lose it. So I have to continuously keep on learning. So she's saying like that. But you seem to be saying it is eternal. So which means it already must be with you. Then what are we doing here sitting?
We are realizing it. It's inside us, and we need to realize it.
But what you can, so now I can argue again the same way, no? That you are learning, so you can forget also.
Learning, like
Yeah.
we can say we're unlearning because whatever society has, like we were
Come
born,
closer and speak louder.
we were born with
Please,
this.
please be open, come closer, please speak up. Let everybody listen.
We were born with this knowledge. Like when we were born, we were never worried about anything, and we can say we knew the truth.
Who are we? Again,
Me.
when we, at least in this session, let's use right kind of words, right kind of sentences. Yeah.
Me.
Ah.
But as we grew up, society taught us like you should be this.
Again, suddenly we came.
Society taught me that you should be this, you should be that, and that's when we learned. That's when I learned many things, and now basically it's like we can say we're unlearning those things and realizing who I truly am.
Okay, so you're talking about it is not really learning. Self-knowledge is not really about learning, but it is rather unlearning.
Exactly. And coming back to what we started from.
Coming back to what?
I started from.
You started from. Okay. Does that make sense to Anita Aditi? Or the confusion has deepened further?
Yes, uncle.
Anita, yes to what? Confusion or?
Confusion.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's look at a simple story. Hopefully that will remove the confusion. So one day, the children walked into the home. They saw their mother crying, loud and wailing and very, very sad. And the children rushed to the mother. What happened? What happened, Amma? What happened? Why are you crying? Stop crying. It's okay. Stop crying. The mother is sobbing. What up? What up? The children say, Amma, we cannot understand. Please tell us what happened. One of the child goes and brings some water, and then the mother drinks the water. Relax, relax. Tell us what happened. The mother still is sobbing and saying, I lost. I lost. The children are now, what did you lose? What did you lose? Necklace. Necklace. She has lost necklace. So then the children ask, oh, which necklace? Which necklace? You know, the necklace. The children are, okay, Amma, okay. Please tell, please tell. You know the necklace that your grandfather gave. So the mother is crying. And the child, one of the child looks at it. Hey, Amma, stop. The mother is now, why is the child yelling at me? You know, I'm crying. Earlier, the child came and consoled me, and the child gave water. I felt very nice, but now the child is yelling at me. Stop. What happened to the child? She's for a moment, you know, she's stunned and she looks at the child. Huh? Why? Hey, Amma, you know where the necklace is? Amma says, if I knew where the necklace is, would I be crying? So she continues to cry. The child says, Amma, stop. And the child holds the necklace the mother is wearing. Amma, this is the one, no? Amma looks at it. Ayyo, Rama, I totally forgot that I'm wearing the necklace. Abba, thank you. Manasile aaya? Where is our Anita Aditi?
Sir?
Yeah,
Sir, can I leave?
your wish.
Okay, sir. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Are you there, Anita Aditi? Okay. So we'll wait for them to appear and then we'll conclude the class. Anita Aditi, are you back?
Yes, uncle. Sorry, our laptop died.
Laptop died. Oh my God. Okay, so how did you bring it back to life?
Charging.
Started it. Good. See, you're not crying because you know laptops die and I just need to press a button. Otherwise, I can hit the laptop. But anyway, coming back. Did you hear the story?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you learn from the story related to what we are discussing?
Uncle, I think before thinking of, oh, I lost it and I'm not able to find it, first thing is to search for it and make sure that you're sure that it is lost. And
Okay,
then
that
you
is-
come to
that
the
is correct.
conclusion.
But with respect to the particular question we are discussing, in this endeavor, there is no loss. How do you relate to that statement, the story?
Uncle, in this story, you said that the necklace was given by the grandfather. So, instead of thinking of that necklace as something materialistic, you can always remember the attachment that you had towards the necklace and maybe the person that gave it to you. And not just think of it as something that is
That's all correct.
the
Sorry for interrupting you. But I want you to focus on one very particular point. What happened and what removed her crying?
The
found it.
necklace all the time.
Please say it loudly.
The necklace was with her all the time.
All the time she was wearing the necklace. But she got into a lapse of memory that I have lost it. Was the necklace ever lost?
No.
No. So now, would you say that she lost and found the necklace? Is that how you would put it? It just had to be pointed out to her that it's with you only. Why are you crying? So, what you are searching for is already with you. It is like, can the sun, who is the source of the light, can he ever become the source of the darkness? Can the sun even have the worry that one day, I will be the source of the darkness? In a way, yes. If you think from the standpoint, even the stars can be born and die. But right now, sun is the source of the light. Can sun ever worry about darkness? No. So likewise, your very nature is that of peace, happiness, bliss, creativity, courage, truth, wonder. All these are inherent in you. So, when you realize your own very nature, is there a fear of you losing yourself? Or losing something that is already with you? Can the sun ever worry about, oh, one day I will lose my light? Or fire ever worrying that I will lose my fire nature? So that is what Krishna is pointing at. So like you all kind of brought it out in different ways. It's a rediscovery. Your nature, you are already that. How can you, it is not something that, knowledge that comes can also go. But here, the special kind of the knowledge or the self-knowledge or the Atma Jnana is not a knowledge like the other knowledge. Cooking knowledge is a knowledge that you receive and you can lose. Drawing knowledge is a knowledge that you receive, can lose. So anything that comes to you can be lost. But why Sri Krishna is so clear is because he is not giving you any of such knowledge. He is only saying, why are you crying? You are already wearing the necklace. Tat tvam asi. You are that only. You are the very source of happiness. You are the very source of peace. You are the very source of knowledge. So when you realize that, then there is no fear of ever losing. When it comes to manifestation of that in the life, what Aditi was saying is correct. If I have lost some skill, I know I have the capacity to learn. I can learn. So there is no, for example, let's say I have lost my limbs. I cannot run anymore. Can I say that there is no loss? There is a loss from the standpoint of the body. But I am not the body. Okay, now I have lost my leg. What should I do? So the ability to continue, the power to continue, the power to create something more meaningful is already inherent in you. So there is no need to worry that I've lost a leg, because you are not the leg. So that realization is what Sri Krishna is pointing us at. Realize that by knowing which you no more have any kind of fear. Not only about the fear of the death. In life, we have the fear of so many things. Like, I think one of you were pointing at. You may have the fear of facing audience. You may have fear of what other people may say. You may have fear of failure. Should I write this exam? What if I cannot do well? I may fail at it. I'm not good at it. You may have fear of failure. You may have so many other kinds of fears. Fear of darkness, fear of height. Some people have fear of looking at so-called nasty things. You know, if you tell them garbage and nice things, they are different forms of the life. But they have a preference towards only so-called nice things. Show them a flower garden, very nice. Show them a dustbin, very nasty smelling. I want to go away. So fear, it's coming out of a certain inclination towards something and not about something. So Shri Krishna is saying all these are manifestations of different kinds of fear. All manifestations are fundamentally because of wrong understanding about life. So if you remove that fundamental understanding, wrong understanding, it's like I can give you one more quick example. Let's say there is water on the ground. You take a piece of cloth and wipe it. And after some time, you again come back and see there is still water. You wipe again. 2-3 times you wipe. Again and again, there's a puddle of water in that place. What's the next thing that you should do? Will you keep on wiping?
You'll find the source of where the water is.
You have to find out what is the source of that drop, of that puddle. That is called as going to the root of the problem. So here, Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, through Arjuna is telling each one of us, Arjuna, what was Arjuna's state? I don't want to fight the war. I may die. I may kill my relatives. I'm so afraid. I'm so nervous now. I don't want to talk in front of an audience. I feel so nervous, so shaky. I don't want to write this exam. I may fail. I don't want to do this. It requires a lot of effort. So we have so many kinds of fear. So Sri Krishna is telling, okay, perfect. But instead of taking a cloth and keep on wiping, I can give you how to talk confidently in front of an audience. I can remove that fear. But by removing that fear, I have not removed your fear of darkness. I can teach you about how to remove the fear of darkness. By removing that fear, I have not removed the fear of, let's say, your anxiety or your apprehension towards nasty things. So is there something by which I can remove all your fears? That is what Sri Krishna is pointing at. Because the source of the puddle is not the on the floor. How many times you wipe, it will not go. You have to go to the root and fix, then it will stop. That is what Sri Krishna is pointing at. Go to the root of the problem. What is the root of the fear? What is the root of the anxiety? What is the root of the tension? What is the root of the anger? What is the root of the stress in life? And when you remove at the root level, then what remains is you. And for that you, then no more there is a fear of loss, because you are the one who is investigating now. That's why we said Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. That capacity to be creative, capacity to maintain, the capacity to transform, and the capacity to realize your true nature, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, is inherent in you. You are above any kind of like, dislike. You are above any kind of attachment and disattachment. You are above any kind of anger, worry, stress. Your very nature is peace, happiness, clarity, courage. So you now have the power to bring them out, irrespective of what is the change. As a son, I never have a fear of losing my light, because that thought even doesn't occur, because I'm the very source of light. Manasila aya, Anita amma. Now please state in your way what you understood.
So when you learn more about yourself, you're not losing anything, you're just learning more about yourself, because whatever you have learned was always there. So it's just that you have to find it and bring it out. So you're not losing anything, and you're just rediscovering yourself and finding yourself.
Excellent. Very nice. Anything else that Aditya or Aditya want to add? But I would like to hear your summary.
So, what I understood was very similar to what she said. So it's basically everything is gain. So when you learn something new, you're basically discovering something that you didn't know was already part of you. So you just need to bring it out.
Okay, wonderful. Aditya?
Yeah, so just like what they said, everything on the path of self-discovery, everything is just coming back to what you already are and what you already know. And anything that we are learning is just just understanding, just removing what people in society have filled our brains with.
What you were using as a block, your very nature is that of radiance. But it is you, through rot of wrong understanding in the mind, can block your own self progress. For example, people say, I am very angry type. I get stressed out very easily. So stress is not your nature at all. Your very nature is peace. Stress is coming from a wrong understanding of how your mind functions. Stress is not you. You are above the stress. And stress is because lack of clarity. When you realize that, you go to the very, it's like you looking at some problem from above. From above, you have nothing to lose. You are able to look at it. Oh, so there's a block. Let's say you're traffic, right? You are in the car, you're driving, and you're stuck at a junction. Everybody's honking. You're so stressed because you're in the car. But now, for a moment, imagine you are that God. I don't know where that fellow is. You are that God. You're looking from above. Hey, there is a traffic block here, but I can see that, if this car takes this route and this lane and this way, out. Attack. Done. So you have that capacity. You have that capacity to raise above the situation and to reflect on the situation and to find a way out. And that is constantly with you, that ability. So Krishna is again and again telling Arjuna, why are you so silly fellow? Why are you crying? Why do you get afraid? What are you afraid of? What are you worried about? Why are you being lazy? Come on, get up, man, get up. You can do many more things, wonderful things. and show that. Because only when you do it, the world recognizes. How can, it's the same 24 hours. How can they do so many things in 24 hours? And how I cannot do even 1/4 of what they're doing? All right. Let's end our contemplation here.